there's never the boss girl with a very successful lifestyle, C-suite executive making $600,000 a year that's like, oh, I want to go out with this guy over here that waits tables for, $60,000 a year. Like, I'm not saying it'll never happen. Maybe there's someone be in the comments, I dated da 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 da, and that was me. Okay. Very, very rarely do women date down financially. So you have to be mindful of women's financial issues when you start getting into a serious commitment. Because the other problem with the serious commitment too is it's very low risk for women and high reward, and it's high risk and low reward for men because of family law. So as soon as you start living in a way that looks like marriage to the government, that they treat as marriage, if you guys break up, even if you're not married, she can have access to your shit. There's a really interesting case. I covered it on a podcast, must have been 4 or 5 years ago now. It's one of Canada's richest guys. He was a billionaire, still is, but him and his girlfriend, they lived in separate homes. She had money problems. He was very successful, obviously billionaire, family wealth sort of thing. They would spend time during the week. She'd come over, have dinner, bring her kids sort of thing. He had some kids from a prior relationship. They never lived together, but they did travel together. But they acted in such a way that even looked like marriage. And because she had financial problems when he met her, and he improved her life so significantly, she argued to the courts, we're basically married because we were together for so many years. And she's like, look at all the Facebook posts and the evidence. And there's a big part in the sand over here where it's like, Bill and Jill and fucking whatever in Mexico and Miami and Ibiza and all these different places around the world. And because she asked for a promise ring, he gave her a ring, which she wore as an engagement ring, but they never got married. They never got engaged. They never had an engagement party. He flew her from Muskoka down to Miami in the winters, back up north, to hang out. She ended up winning that case because she convinced the judge that he was responsible for the improvement in her life, and he's paying her $30,000 a month now.
Unbelievable.
Yoga studio, some bullshit yoga studio in Toronto that probably doesn't make a
makes
dime.
Nothing, makes jack shit.
By now. But that's what can happen, if, you get in that. It's like guys far too often will just be like, she touches my pee-pee and she responds to my text. So why wouldn't I want to get in a relationship with her? It's like, dude, the options for you as a man improve so much more when you put the effort and resources back into yourself than random women that come and go in your life throughout time. If you can put that time and effort into leveling yourself up, making some more money, developing a new skill, starting a business, networking with more significant men, becoming more influential, that makes you more attractive, losing the weight, becoming more masculine, learning how to fight, fixing style issues, like all of these things, making yourself attractiveness is the key that allows you to select for better women. You only settle for problems when you don't have optionality. Create optionality, become more attractive, and then the issue with red flags more or less sorts itself out, because as soon as she starts, showing you off red flags, like Moff's like 6 for 6 now, right, with his ex. Do you think he was there, putting up with this shit when he started dating afterwards, right? When he started to realize, when he started doing the work and make more, you know what I'm saying?
It's all it boils down to, man. It's again, being unplugged. It's just in improving yourself. Just it means you got to put up with. You don't have to put up with BS that you don't want to put up with, because there's more options and there's going to be more around the corner. Yeah. It's really what it boils down to. We talk about this a lot. Like, women need to know they're replaceable. They need to have that anxiety. They need to know that you're that guy, and that tends to manifest itself a lot easier than when you're doing the right things. I mean, the way you carry yourself, like whether you're seeing other women or whether you're not seeing other women, but the simple fact that you could is generally, enough. But yeah, like I've got no need to compromise any of the things I want to compromise. Like if I'm going to get into an LTR, for example, or it's like, all right, cool. Like I got access to your bank accounts. I know your PIN. I have your debit card in my back pocket, and that's where it's going to stay. And if I need it for something or whatever it is, it's just, I'm going to be in control of every aspect of the relationship, because I think that's the best way for it to work. It's just letting somebody who is an emotional non-rational thinker 99% of the time have free reign in something where they have access to potentially take me down financially is just an extremely, extremely dumb thing to do.
Yeah, it's nuts. You want to take some call-ins here? We got some
Yeah, we got a
people
couple.
waiting. We've done the 3. I'll bring one in.
Yeah, let's grab Andy. He was back first. Waiting all patient. Andy, what's up, bro?
Hey, yeah, just wanted to maybe throw in a couple of extra examples of the red flags that you were just talking about. One of them is the banter one, right?
The
That
witty
is,
banter.
yeah, the witty banter. That can get annoying even with guys. You don't necessarily want somebody picking on you all the time, and you kind of gets the guard up. But with women, that's extremely annoying. But however, sometimes I wonder. I live in Minnesota, and everyone's maybe here a little bit passive aggressive than average. But sometimes I wonder if like these ladies are you not even necessarily always self-aware of that they're being toxic because perhaps maybe they didn't have a father or an uncle or some parental male authority to like tell them to shut up, when they were a kid or whatever, or like put in the boundaries. What do you think about that?
I'd say they probably carry some weight. I mean, the girls that I would run into that would do this were like NYC boss babes. They were like working in the fashion industry, or like the girl that was given, like the girl that loved the banter, she would call herself like a tomboy, right? So that was kind of her MO. She had sort of a little bit of masculine edge to her already. And enough exposure to feminism and the boss babe mentality, like it turns women into poor versions of men. So they see that, they emulate it. They're probably in an office environment where there's a lot of men around, whether it's sales guys or VPs and C-level folks and it's the tide has started to turn in the last couple of years, but there's sales guys are going to act like sales guys, and there's always that high level of that sort of machismo, and there's a lot of testosterone in those rooms as much as HR tries to quell that. But I mean, I see your point on the guy stuff too, but the difference is like if a guy's got a problem with me, or if I call a dude out, I'm like, hey man, don't talk to me like that. He gets one chance. If he does it again, then we're going to throw down. It's really simple. Like it's just one of those things that I think we need to get back to. I do think that there's a certain time and place for it, but you have to understand that guys are going to test you as well. Like guys need to see that you are a worthy, valued member of the tribe. And if you're going to fold because somebody says something mean to you, then that's not somebody that you're going to want to have your back when the stuff goes down. So there's certainly a fine line, but yeah, I mean, you got to stand up for yourself, but you also got to be a guy that doesn't take that stuff too seriously.
Yeah, we
Bottom
had a
line, Andy,
guy.
you want
Oh,
to
go
stay
ahead.
away from women that behave like men. You want a woman, right?
Yeah, totally. Not a transvestite, in a woman's body or whatever.
Well, you don't want a
um,
boss girl.
yeah,
Like
no,
like
they're very
some
annoying.
guys like that. Some guys think that, oh, if I can build a relationship that resembles the Twin Towers and we go and conquer life together, sort of thing. Uh, you can't, like, there's only one steering wheel in a car for a reason. All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.